I just wanted to show you what I've been up to for spring. I'm in the basement. I'm going to show you how I start my tomatoes, the way that I have the best success starting my tomato and pepper plants. And so we'll get going. This is what winter sowing looks like. These are soda bottles, mostly. I got most of these from friends. Some of them come from birthday parties and different things that we have throughout the year, but we don't usually drink a lot of soda. I did use some water bottles. I don't use many of those because they get blown around a lot, but I did use those for some of the herbs that I was planting this year. I have a lot more bottles that I need to plant. This was just a few that I got done the other day. The way that this works is you have a clear container where the sunlight can get through. You can see the condensation. I really wet down the soil. I plant the seeds and then I put the bottles back together. Then you get a condensation and basically a greenhouse effect. Also, when they start to get bigger, you don't have to worry about hardening them off as much because they already are outside and starting to get some of that. You can take the tops off if you want for a couple of days before you put them in the ground. But I've always had really good luck doing it this way. So before I get started, I'm just gonna kind of clean up my mess. The other day, I tried to get as much done as I could, and then I literally worked until I didn't have any more time, didn't clean up, ran upstairs, and washed up and then had to leave. So today, I'm gonna clean up my mess, and then I'm gonna get started. But first, I just wanted to show you these. This is a pepper plant that I started the other day. It is starting to get a little bit dried out. And I have this little water bottle here. I don't want to pour water in it yet because the seed hasn't germinated and it could wash it all around. So I'm just gonna spray these. As they start to get bigger, I do just pour the water in there so that they can get more water and they don't dry out. This is the potting soil that I am using. That's the potting soil that I'm using. I get from a local farm. And here are all my bottles. I've got a whole huge trash bag full of bottles. Apple cider. We were drinking a lot of apple cider and it dawned on me this fall, those are clear. I can use those. Those are the normal kind of milk jugs that you can use, but we have apple cider, so that's what we used. So I just started keeping all the clear stuff and realizing that we actually had more than I thought we did. That's actually why I stopped doing the winter sowing, is because I didn't have enough white bottles. I was like, well, we don't drink soda and our milk comes in a solid white container, and so I don't have enough. But then I started seeing what we actually did have and what we were getting rid of, and so I decided to start saving them, and it added up to way more than I thought it was going to be. So this is great. I have enough for probably about 50 tomato plants and then some pepper plants as well. This is one of the milk jugs. The other day I washed them all out, just rinsed them with water. I put holes with a drill in the bottom, about 4 holes, and a couple on the sides. Now I'm actually going to drill in the middle and cut around. So I'm going to put the hole in here and cut around the center. Now in the past, I have left this connected, filled this with dirt, and duct tape this. The duct tape, as it starts to get hot outside, will dry out and it makes kind of a mess, and then you can't really open these to check on them. So this year I am trying a different way that I had seen, where you just cut it all the way off, make a couple of slits, and then you will fit this back on. That's how I did the ones that are outside already. Seemed to work pretty good. With the juice containers, these slits did split a little bit more. So we're gonna kind of see how they go. As long as they don't dry out too much, it'll be fine. Okay, so I put some dirt in there. I am going to take these all outside and pour a bunch of water in here. Let that drain out so that this is nice and damp, so that we can create that greenhouse effect when I put the top back on. After it's all taken care of, slip that back on like that. I might need to, this is a little low, and there's a hole. I might need to tape some of this, but we'll see. I made a mess out of this one. Okay, new plan. The slits work with the soda bottles. The slits do not work with these. So I'm gonna do it the old way, where I use duct tape. I'm not crazy about that way because the duct tape gets dried out and kind of starts to fall apart, but I am not getting these lids to stay on well with them being completely cut off. So I'm gonna get my duct tape out in a little bit, and that's how I will get these back on. This handle is a little bit low on here, and it's just not letting that stay in the thing. So that's why I'm always changing stuff and always trying to figure out a better way. So we are gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put some water in these. And I put a lot to really kind of soak that in there. And that's why I do it outside, so it can just run down. Then I will bring this back in, put the seeds on, put a little bit of soil on top, and secure the top lids to this. I've always used the duct tape. I was so excited when I saw that I might not need to, but it looks like, at least on the milk jugs, I'm going to have to do that. Over here, when I showed you the soda bottles earlier, they seem to be doing okay. See how that looks really wet? That's not draining properly. So I put a couple more holes in the sides. Usually on the milk jugs I put 4 on the bottom and then 1 on each side, but the holes might be a little bit too high on the side where I first put them in. It's the higher one. So I put a couple down lower, because if they stay this wet, they'll get like moldy. So this one's doing a little bit better, but they should look more like, they should look like that. I have duct tape on the milk jugs, and the milk jugs have different things in them. There's enough room that I usually put 2 plants per milk jug, kind of in the corners away from each other. The soda bottles only have 1 plant per bottle, because that just seems to work out good for me. I'm going to show you how I do one of the soda bottles real quick. I have 3 holes in the bottom of these and 2 on the sides, which work out good for these bottles. So I have a hole there so I can get the scissors in. And these ones I can cut all the way around because they seem to do good with the slits and then setting them back on top of each other like that. So I was making 4 small slits up like that. And then I'll fill this up with dirt, go out there, water them again like I did the other ones, wait until they drain out, put my seed in, cover it with a little bit more dirt, spray it with my water bottle, and then put it back together again. And of course I'm labeling all these because I have a bunch of different varieties of tomatoes that I grow. And I also have peppers in some of these as well. Okay, so I'm done. I have about 50 bottles, I think, and they're filled. And now I'm gonna actually put them in the front yard because we'll get a lot more sun over there. And I hope they don't get blown over today because it's been a little windy. But I'm gonna bring them up there, and these should start sprouting in not too long. You can do the winter sowing anytime. You can do it when it's cold out, when there's snow still on the ground. If you're up north, the seeds will actually just stay dormant until the weather is nice enough for them to sprout and come up. If they do grow and the leaves start touching the sides and then you get a frost, you would want to either bring them in the house or cover them with something, because if they're touching the sides, they'll get burned a little bit. But other than that, sometimes they take weeks, even a month to sprout if you get them out early. These ones should take maybe a week because it's going to be really nice out, and this is actually kind of late. The only reason I'm doing it like this is because I ran out of room here, and because I haven't grown them inside very well. So I'm going to go back to the old tried and true. It's been almost a week since I planted my tomatoes, and I just wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see in there, it's kind of blurry. You do have to water these after a while if it doesn't rain. So they're getting a little bit dry inside of there, so I'm going to go ahead and water them as gently as possible. They have not sprouted yet, but the nights have still been kind of cool. Some of these have blown over just a little bit because it's been really windy today. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and water them, and then I'll keep you updated on how they're doing, but I don't have anything sprouted just yet. I just want to say thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions about winter sowing, or if you've done winter sowing in the past, let me know in the comments below. It's definitely my favorite way to get my tomato and pepper plants to come up in the spring, and I've always had good luck with it. So I hope you find luck with it too. And if you're new to gardening, check out my last video about starting seeds and a little bit of gardening encouragement. We'll see you again soon.